This is Charleston's retirement coach, Brandon Bowen.
Layoffs, they've been a big headline lately. We've seen big companies like UPS, Intel, Microsoft, Amazon letting go thousands of employees, and many of those are people right on the cusp of retirement, Brandon. So if this were to happen to somebody that's listening to us right now on WSC today, if they were to have a layoff come their way at this phase of life, or even if they are just think that I've heard some things, or I'm worried about this, or so-and-so said this, because a lot of people that are at this phase of life, they might be higher up. So they've got intel, they've got knowledge of things going on within the company. So if somebody is worried about a layoff, what should they do? What would you recommend that they do when it comes to their retirement savings and plan?
The quick answer is I would say call a timeout.
Okay.
Call a timeout. And it kind of reminds me when my girls were younger, they would watch some of those Disney Junior shows or I don't know, on Disney. And I just remember some of them, the deal was everyone would freeze, and the girl would like turn to the camera and
she would break that. Was it break the third wall? They did that on also for our generation on Saved by the Bell. That was a big Zach Morris move. Yeah.
yes. And everybody would freeze. And it's like, that's what I want you to do. Right. If you think this is happening, let's freeze everybody else in your world.
Okay.
Pick up the phone, call me, text me right now. Right. Because we need to have this conversation. And like you were saying, Heather, maybe you're an executive or middle management, and you're kind of hearing some of the stuff and the effects of AI with every industry. They're, cutting things. Some positions are replaceable, some are not, some are, but you might be hearing some of that stuff. Or if you think you might be retiring in the next 5 years, or if you've already been let go. I mean, there's so many people that this could apply to right now. If you feel like, okay, I'm coming up on retirement and I've never sat down, I've never called the time out and put a plan together, then let's do it. I would say that the two times in my job here that are the slowest, I would say, would be summer vacations and the holidays, for obvious reasons.
Right.
People, this might be the last thing you want to do right now. It's because you got like Thanksgiving, you got Christmas, the holidays here. But to me, that's like, hey, you might even have some time off at work, or just a bit of a breather where you can, hey, focus on yourself, focus on your plan, your family. Okay, if this were to happen here in 2026, if I were to get let go, or if better yet, if you just want to retire, it's like, okay, you've done the hard work and you think you've got enough money, but you can't enter into this by just thinking and hoping. Right. So let's call a timeout. And here's what we'll do. Okay. So if you were to pick up the phone, call us. Let me give my number again real quick, 843-890-2400. 843-890-2400. Tanya is standing by right now. If you've saved $500,000 or more and are ready to have this plan put into place, let's do it. Let's jump on it. We do have some appointment times here before the holidays, before things get crazy. So reach out. But here's what I would want you to do is just, come in. You'll come in for an easy first appointment. Okay. It's maybe 30 minutes, 45 minutes where we're getting to know each other. We're talking through, what's going on? What are you feeling? This situation here. And I'm going to help you start to look at things. Okay. Well, especially if you might be thinking you're going to get laid off or let go or fired, whatever, is we've got to talk through, okay, what are you going to do? Do you need any withdrawals right now? So, especially to get through the holidays or whatever, do we need to start making some withdrawals right now? Or short-term income? Okay. There's going to be a bridge, usually, of like kind of like emergency. It's almost like if you hydroplane in your car. Have you ever hydroplaned, Heather?
There has been moments where you felt definitely when you're driving on like the rain when it falls and you feel the float
or hit ice or something.
It's very unnerving.
Just blood. It just leaves my body. I feel like
so vulnerable because you don't know what's going to happen. You're totally out of control. Yeah.
You're out of control. You just stop. You're like, you sit back for a second. You're like, all right, gather yourself again, because that's what it might feel like here. If you were to get let go, your world is kind of like it's all over the place. Things that were steady and consistent and predictable are no longer there. So we have to, help you plan for the short-term income needs, withdrawals you might have, some more long-term things, especially if you're under 65 years old, is healthcare. Let's talk about that. Also, if you're just going to retire at 62, if this is part of your plan, I've had people come in, Heather, and they're like, I'm like, okay, what are you doing for healthcare? They're like, what do you mean? And I'm like, well, you can't start Medicare until 65. Okay. And if you're walking away from your employer, we've got to pick up, some health insurance somewhere, right? So some people have not thought of that. Okay. So think of that. We got to maybe explore COBRA or the Affordable Care marketplace option. Okay. So some of these things, but getting that income set up, healthcare expenses, things like that, but also more bigger purpose, especially if you're ready to retire, is we really need to start reframing your purpose. Okay. Especially for the men that are listening right now, because I feel unfortunately a lot of times find our self-worth in our job.
I think for a certain generation, but I do believe that's becoming more and more of a thing for women. I think that as Gen Xers start to come up to retirement age and options, it's going to be a problem for women as well, because so many of us have careers now. And
especially if you were something at work, if you had made it up and you are head of this or whatever.
You were needed, you were wanted.
Yes. And people reported to you and did their best to provide everything for you and impress
and
you
versa.
And things like that. There is so much psychologically, especially for like executives and things like that. And so we've got to, for everybody, is like just the simple act of getting up, getting dressed, having something to do today, productive. You come home, we are all built to be productive. We sit around, if we do nothing, I mean, I might think it's fun for a week for a vacation or a couple weeks or summer break or something like that. But I've had plenty of people come back and say, like, Brandon, I retired and I thought I could play golf every day. I don't even want to play right now,
So we've
got, we've got to start looking at things. Okay. What is your new purpose in life? What is your passion with your spouse, maybe a church or a charity, something like that, or the grandkids. Okay. So think of those things, because I want you to, and then, the clients that come back in and they're like, we're busier now retired than we were when we were working. I love it. Right. Because they're staying sharp. I'm like, well, let's have another meeting. Like, my calendar's packed, and I'm gone more than I'm here and all this amazing stuff. Right. So I know that is going to help them have even more longevity in life. Right. Because they're getting up, they're taking care of their health as well. They're eating better, they're exercising, all these things that you can now do once you're retired. So there's so many positives to this. Okay. And a lot of this, what I'm talking about now, that this was the case for one of my clients. He worked for Bowen for a long time, over 20 years, but he was starting to hear some of those rumblings. If you remember about 3 years ago, everything that was going on there with the leadership and the stock price and things. And so he was walking around, he kind of saw it coming, right? He was walking around, and his wife, she was already a client, and she told me she could hear him just deep breaths from the other room.
Not a good deep breath, like the stress,
not a good
the
deep
stressful
breath.
size. Yeah.
Just in his mind and just thinking. And then he would get up and walk to another room and sit down. And she's like, why did he go in there? And she could hear him sigh again. And she was like, honey, we're going to see Brandon. It's like, we're going to see the doctor, So it's like, let's go see Brandon. I know you're stressed. I can see it. You haven't stopped. You didn't even eat your lunch, whatever. Right. So they came in, and they had saved well. She had over $1 million saved. He had over $1 million saved.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, God, I was asking him, why are you so stressed? It's like, do you feel like he's like, I don't know. That's all I've known. And I've had a paycheck coming in every week. I was like, that's fine. We're going to continue this paycheck, except your portfolio is going to pay you now, not Boeing. Okay. And so that's what they needed, is he just needed a clear plan written down that showed, okay, he's like, I want 10,000 a month protected. I want that to come in. I'm like, check. Okay. I can do that. What else? He's like, well, then I still got all this money and I want it to continue to grow really aggressively. I was like, okay, we can take aggressive, risk with a certain portion of the money. So he still wants to have some money in that game. He still wants to kind of play that game. So we're doing that with a certain isolated bucket there. And now a few years into retirement, he's Oh my gosh, loving. I saw him at the Wine Under the Oaks event last year that we sponsored. I see him around town, and he is loving life with the grandkids.
Yeah.
He's lost weight. I mean, both of them. It's beautiful. And it all. I think back, and I've even reminded him about it. He goes, "Yeah, I was not doing good. My mental health was not good back then." And I'm so glad she, brought me in. I just needed, someone to tell me that, just to snap me out of it. And we put that plan together. And what I'm talking about for you listening, that is my customized retirement playbook. My customized retirement playbook. It is the biggest, most robust thing that we do here. We look at everything from your income, your market risk, the cost that you're paying. We, look at ways to rebalance that stuff to get it designed to do exactly what you need here for this next phase of life. No longer is it growth as most important. Now it's income, right? So we've got to start looking at, what do you want? What levels of guarantee do you want on these income streams?
Right.
We start diversifying that, maximizing Social Security, things like that. And then look at, tax strategies. And that's my customized retirement playbook. So if you saved well for retirement, and I call that about $500,000 or more, and you're age 60 or above, I want you to pick up the phone right now. You can call or text Tanya. She's standing by, waiting for your call. The number is 843-890-2400. So let's sit down and let's take a look at what all you've done and what moves need to be made here right now. 843-890-2400.
Let's set a time for your customized retirement playbook. 843-890-2400 is the number to dial. You can call or send a text to that number, 843-890-2400. You do have time to schedule one of these appointments before the end of the year. And of course, we'd love to see you and begin this conversation with and for you. 843-890-2400.
And they can text the word playbook. I don't think I gave them a word. Text the word playbook.
Yeah. Okay. Good point. Okay. So 843-890-2400. Call or text the word playbook. And that's how we'll begin the conversation, getting you scheduled on the calendar.
Thanks for listening to Charleston's Retirement Coach Podcast with Brandon Bowen. To learn more, visit bowenwealth.com and join Brandon for his radio show, Charleston's Retirement Coach, Saturdays at 11 a.m. on 94.3 WSC.
Financial professionals are not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if J. Brandon Bowen is licensed in your state, please call 843-203-2030. J. Brandon Bowen is an investment advisor representative of Bowen Wealth, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Exposure to ideas and financial vehicles discussed should not be considered investment advice or recommendation to buy or sell any financial vehicle. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Investments can fluctuate and when redeemed may be worth more or less than when originally invested. J. Brandon Bowen is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal or tax advice. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Bowen Wealth, LLC, insurance licensed in South Carolina. Market Guard is a registered investment advisor with the SEC and provides model portfolios only to Impact Partnership Wealth. Market Guard makes no implied warranties or representations and is not liable for any data presented.